film opens with the story of two characters, Rupasov and Z. Once a feared assassin, Rupasov has spent the last 3 years confined to a wheelchair after sustaining severe injuries. Z, on the other hand, was born with a disability and has used a wheelchair his entire life. He now lives in a dormitory with his close friend Adam. In his spare time, Z enjoys drawing comics, a hobby in which he shows considerable talent. One day, while Z and Adam were goofing around with a fire extinguisher in a narrow alley near their dorm, they were suddenly confronted by Rupasov. Annoyed by their antics, he lashed out in anger, sparking a heated exchange. But upon realizing he had overreacted, Rupasov calmed down, offered an apology, and, to their surprise, invited them to his party. At the party, the tension quickly faded as Z and Adam ended up having a great time. Later, with an unexpectedly calm demeanor, Rupasov proposed that Z and Adam join him in his line of work as an assassin, tempting them with the promise of a lavish lifestyle, one like they had just enjoyed at the party. A few days after, Z was hospitalized, and the doctors advised surgery. But Z refused, haunted by the pain of his past. His father had abandoned him at birth solely because of his disability. The story then shifts focus to Rupasov as he receives a new assignment from his boss. Rupasov waited calmly for his target in an empty parking lot. A car pulled up and a group approached him. One man drew a knife, stabbed him in the leg, and threatened him. Unfazed, Rupasov remarked that he couldn't feel anything due to his paralysis, prompting mocking laughter. Another man kicked him, making him cough. Then, without warning, Rupasov pulled a gun from a plastic bag hidden in his jacket and swiftly gunned down the entire group. After fending off his attackers, an ambulance arrived, and a female doctor named Zita treated Rupasov's leg. The two had known each other in the past, and still harboring feelings for her, Rupasov boldly asked her to a movie after her shift. Zita gently declined, revealing she was engaged. Heartbroken, Rupasov later attempted to end his life by jumping off a pedestrian bridge, but miraculously, he survived. Realizing he couldn't give up on life, Rupasov chose to move forward. His boss soon paid him for the job, warning him to keep it confidential and work alone. Meanwhile, Z and Adam had been a steady source of support. Days later, Rupasov ran into Z at the hospital during his leg treatment. Z refused to accept Rupasov's decision and insisted on continuing to help him. He also made it clear he wouldn't take any money from his father, despite his mother's urging. After finishing his leg therapy, Rupasov waited outside the hospital with a bouquet of roses, hoping to express his feelings to Zita. But his hopes were crushed when he saw her leave with her fiancé. Back on the job, Rupasov received a new mission to eliminate a powerful figure. Determined, he began carefully planning the operation. While the target dined at a roadside restaurant, Rupasov waited quietly across the street, with Z and Adam positioned on the opposite side for support. Using perfect coordination and the distraction of a passing crowd and flock of pigeons, Rupasov carried out the hit without drawing suspicion. As the official crossed the street, he suddenly collapsed, blood spreading across his body. Panicked bodyguards scrambled to locate the shooter, but the assassin had already vanished without a trace. No one suspected the 3 men in wheelchairs were behind the attack. After completing the mission, they quietly slipped away. Later, Rupasov ran into Zita while boarding a bus, and she unexpectedly handed him a wedding invitation. He accepted, unaware that his boss had been secretly watching him. When they met, the boss, furious over Rupasov breaking the rules, shoved him to the ground, making his anger and dominance unmistakably clear. The boss gave Rupasov one final chance to redeem himself with a mission to eliminate Z and Adam. The next day, he took them fishing at a remote lake. After trekking through overgrown areas, they settled by the water. When Adam felt a strong tug on his line and called for help, Rupasov suddenly pushed him into the lake, then did the same to Z, intending to leave them behind. But the moment he considered letting them drown, Rupasov was overcome with guilt and dove in to save them both. Back at the dock, Rupasov quickly brushed off the incident as a joke, despite it being his first failed mission. On the way home, he invited Z and Adam to a party at his house, where he opened up about his feelings for Zita. Touched by his sincerity, his friends vowed to help him win her back, and together they started planning. The next day, Rupasov's 3 female friends helped him stand against a car, hinting he might no longer need his wheelchair. He waited patiently for Zita to return from the hospital, but after hours of waiting, she never appeared. Their plan had failed. A few days later, Rupasov received a new mission from his boss to eliminate a drug dealer with a promise of double payment upon success. Rupasov accepted the mission, but insisted it would be his last. His boss agreed. Together with Z and Adam, he went to the target's house, instructing them to wait in the car. The guards thoroughly searched Rupasov, found no weapons, and let him inside, believing he posed no threat. Led inside, Rupasov met the drug dealer and sprang into action. Quietly pulling a gun hidden in his wheelchair's foam cushion, he fired at the guards but missed his main target. The drug dealer quickly drew his own weapon, triggering a tense gunfight. Despite his injuries and bloodied clothes, Rupasov's experience as a hitman kept him fighting relentlessly. He eliminated everyone and completed the mission. Rushing to escape, he reached a locked gate but couldn't open it as police sirens approached. Inside the car, a worried Z took the lead, distracting the police, while Adam helped Rupasov escape. Thanks to their quick coordination, all 3 managed to get away safely. Rupasov met his boss to collect payment, but instead of leaving, they drove to an empty warehouse.
Seeing a rope hanging ominously, Rupasov sensed something was wrong.
His boss had uncovered Rupasov's plan, knew Z and Adam were alive, and was furious at the betrayal. The truth was out, and forgiveness was impossible. His boss tied a rope around Rupasov's neck, took his wheelchair, and left him alone. Struggling to breathe, Rupasov used his toes to hold on and tried reaching his wheelchair nearby, but failed. Just as hopelessness set in, the ropes knot loosened slightly. Seizing the chance, he quickly freed himself and escaped. Back home, Rupasov gathered his friends to plot revenge against his boss. A few days later, dressed sharply in white, he attended Zita's wedding with Z and Adam. His captivating presence and singing impressed many, including a tearful Zita. After the party, Zita's husband and his friends attacked Rupasov, but Z quickly intervened, threatening them with a gun and escorting Rupasov to safety. In the days that followed, Rupasov and Z boldly went to his boss's hideout, with Adam standing guard outside. Rupasov made his intentions clear. He was there to collect the payment his boss still owed him. The boss refused to pay and threatened to unleash attack dogs. Rupasov shot a nearby fire extinguisher, scaring the dogs away. Enraged, the boss charged, forcing Rupasov to drop his gun and attacked him with a knife. Z, despite having the gun, chose not to intervene. Inspired, he created a comic featuring them both. The comic quickly gained popularity, drawing publisher interest and launching Zelene's success. Z sent a copy of his comic book to his father, marking the story's end. The lesson: never push friends into a lake if you want to be a successful assassin, and never underestimate how comics can change your life, even if your father is a wheelchair-bound assassin in fiction.